There's one food group urologists are quietly urging men over 60 to stop eating, and odds are it's your breakfast staple. You may think it's harmless, maybe even part of a proud, manly diet. But what if I told you that sizzling strip of bacon or that juicy sausage link is doing more than just filling your stomach? What if it's quietly making your prostate swell, your testosterone plummet, and your energy disappear? It looks good on the grill. It smells incredible in the pan. But inside your body, it might be accelerating your biological age by years. Here's the bottom line: men over 60 who regularly eat processed red meats like bacon, sausages, and deli meats face up to a 30% higher risk of developing prostate issues. Not minor discomforts, but real conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH, low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, and even aggressive prostate cancer. You might not feel it building. That's what makes it so dangerous. These foods work like silent disruptors, hiding in plain sight, undercutting your hormone balance, slowing your blood flow, and increasing inflammation across your entire system. And it's not just one doctor sounding the alarm. Major studies from Harvard University to the American Institute for Cancer Research are confirming the same thing. The combination of nitrates, saturated fat, and chemicals in processed meats creates the perfect storm inside an aging male body. But here's what might really surprise you. Some urologists are now treating these meats with the same caution they use for smoking. That's not an exaggeration. One doctor said off camera, "If there's one food group I wish every man over 60 would cut in half, at least it's this one." And the real shock? A retired Navy pilot saw his testosterone bounce back 25% in just a few weeks. He didn't take expensive supplements. He didn't change his workout. He just made one simple choice every morning. I'll tell you exactly what changed for him in just a minute. Because it turns out cutting out just one serving a day can lead to noticeable improvements. And not after months. We're talking weeks. Let's break down what's really happening here. We're talking about the most commonly eaten processed red meats: bacon, sausages, ham, salami, bologna, hot dogs, beef jerky, and most of those pre-packaged sandwich meats. Why are they a problem? Simple. These meats contain high levels of saturated fat, salt, and nitrates preservatives used to keep them shelf-stable and give them that signature taste and color. But once inside your body, those preservatives can trigger inflammation, raise blood pressure, and damage the lining of your blood vessels. Over time, that damage adds up. It tightens your arteries, lowers your blood flow, and affects everything from your testosterone to your nighttime urination habits to your energy in the bedroom. Let's talk about your hormones for a second. As men age, testosterone naturally declines. That's normal. But what many don't realize is how fast that decline can accelerate when you're eating certain chemicals. Some of the nitrates and preservatives in processed meats are known to act like hormone mimickers. That means they confuse your body into producing less testosterone while increasing estrogen-like hormones. In a 2020 clinical review, older men who regularly consumed nitrates were linked to lower levels of free, active testosterone in the blood. It's not that it happens overnight, but imagine what happens when this continues for years. A small shift becomes a slow drift, until one day you realize your energy, your recovery, your drive isn't what it used to be. And then there's your circulation. Men don't often talk about blood flow outside of the heart, but there's another area where good circulation is critical to penis. If your diet clogs or narrows those small, delicate blood vessels, intimacy becomes more difficult, more inconsistent, and eventually impossible. One study from Boston University showed that men who switched to lean proteins and plant-based choices noticed improvements in erectile strength and recovery in less than 90 days. The researchers weren't looking for that; it just happened as a side effect of removing processed meats. And for men over 60, this is even more important. Your body's not bouncing back like it did at 25. Inflammation sticks around longer. Nutrients don't absorb the same. Hormones can get thrown off with even small shifts in your lifestyle. Add 20, 30 years of daily bacon or deli sandwiches. That's like fueling a fire with dry leaves. Even Dr. Neil Fleschner, a leading urologic oncologist with decades of experience, has said, if I had to pick just one food group for older men to minimize, it's processed red meat. And he's not saying it just to sound healthy. He's seen the scans. He's looked at the lab work. He's tracked the patients. Now, let's go back to that veteran I mentioned earlier, the retired Navy pilot from Arizona. His story hits close to home for a lot of men. He was 67, always active, handyman around the house, loved camping, walking his dog, and fixing old trucks. But lately, he noticed something was off. He was waking up to P2 or 3 times a night. He felt tired in the mornings, even after full sleep. And his drive, his stamina not just in the bedroom, but in his daily life was fading. Initially, he chalked it up to aging. After all, 67 isn't 37. But after a routine checkup, his doctor asked one simple question: "What do you normally eat for breakfast?" His answer? 3, sometimes 4 slices of bacon, with eggs, and sometimes sausage if it's the weekend. He had no idea that meal his go-to breakfast since his 30s was quietly working against him. The doctor suggested a short trial. Cut out processed meats for 6 weeks, he said. Just see what happens. He wasn't thrilled. What do you want me to eat, oatmeal and sprouts? But the results shut him up real quick. By week 2, he was sleeping better. By week 4, his nighttime bathroom visits dropped from 3 to 1, sometimes none. His energy in the mornings returned. And at his next lab appointment, his testosterone levels had jumped an incredible 23%, without medication, just from removing one habit. Another example? The PLCO cancer screening trial, one of the largest US studies on prostate health, tracked over 175,000 men. It found that men with the highest intake of processed meats had a significantly greater risk of developing aggressive forms of prostate cancer. But those who cut out or replaced even just 1 or 2 servings per week by subbing in grilled chicken, beans, or fish saw reductions in key inflammation markers across the board. This can be your story too. It doesn't take overhauling your entire diet. It starts with one choice. And in most cases, it starts at breakfast. So ask yourself, what's on your plate every morning? Because what feels familiar might be quietly breaking down your hormones, your circulation, and your future quality of life. And all it takes is one small shift. Next, we're going to talk exactly about how to make this transition easier than you ever thought. I'll show you what to eat instead and how your body starts responding almost immediately when you cut processed red meat from your daily routine. And we'll look at how men in their 60s and 70s are regaining strength, intimacy, and drive with one realistic change. This isn't about perfection. It's about protection. For your mind, your body, and your manhood. So, what can replace that bacon or sausage on your plate? Believe it or not, it's simpler and tastier than you might think. Let's go back to the retired Navy pilot for a second. When he first heard no more bacon, his gut reaction was frustration. What the heck am I supposed to eat now? His doctor handed him a small list. No crazy health food store items, just simple swaps. One was turkey bacon uncured, nitrate-free, and much leaner. He gave that a try for a week. It didn't taste exactly like bacon, but with the right spices, it got close. Next came eggs with a twist. He started adding spinach, tomato, and a touch of olive oil for omelets. Within 2 weeks, he didn't miss the bacon. He said it actually felt more real food and his digestion improved. For protein, instead of sausage, he'd heat up a few black beans or even have grilled chicken strips he prepped the night before. Sometimes, half an avocado gave him the fullness he was craving. Pretty soon, his plate still looked manly, still filling, just smarter. And here's the best part, his body responded fast. Not only in labs, but how he felt getting out of bed, solving small problems around the house, and being more present with his wife. Foods like turkey, chicken, eggs, beans, and tofu all provide protein without the chemical burden of processed red meat. And when you combine those with whole grains and healthy fats like avocado or nuts, something even more powerful happens. Your inflammation drops. Your blood vessels begin to relax. Circulation improves. That means oxygen and nutrients start flowing better throughout your entire body from your brain to your toes and everywhere in between. Dr. Robert Siegel, founder of a preventive cardiology clinic in New York, said his patients often feel sharper, calmer, and more energized when they make this one substitution cutting processed meats and replacing them with clean proteins. Not pediatric diets, just cleaner choices. So if this change feels overwhelming, here's something to remember. You don't need to cut out everything overnight. Start with one meal. Start with breakfast. Just like the Navy pilot, make the switch to a cleaner plate. One swap, one habit. That's it. For some men, it starts with going meatless Tuesday mornings. For others, it's trading sausages for a veggie-loaded omelet 3 times a week. Another guy we heard from retired firefighter said he used to skip breakfast entirely, then load up on fast food by noon. But once he started prepping overnight oats with chia seeds and apple slices, he said he felt like a new engine was turning over by week 3. And the science backs that up. Studies on plant-based and Mediterranean-style diets rich in fresh fruits, vegetables, legumes, and lean proteins consistently show reduced risk for prostate problems, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and improved testosterone levels. Not because they're magical, but because they work with your body, not against it. The worst part about processed meats isn't just what they contain, it's what they push off your plate. When you fill up with high salt, high-fat meats, you leave no room for foods that actually help regulate hormones and fight inflammation. Stuff like leafy greens, broccoli, berries, pumpkin seeds, even olive oil all have nutrients that support prostate health and hormone balance. And when you start to make a little room for them, your body feels it. Your energy changes, your thinking clears, and your nightly bathroom trips, they may start to vanish. Now, let's be real. No one's telling you to become a monk. There's no shame in having a slice of bacon on a holiday weekend or throwing on a hot dog at a summer barbecue. But the day in, day out routine? That's what matters most. And if you've been waking up exhausted, dragging through the day, avoiding intimacy, or just feeling like something's off, this one change could help you reset. No gimmicks. No gimmicky pills. Just removing the food that's quietly wearing you down and giving your body a chance to bounce back. This is about stacking the odds in your favor. Because prostate issues, fatigue, and hormone problems aren't just part of getting older. Yes, aging plays a role, but lifestyle plays a bigger one than most people realize. And you're never too old to make a new choice. Imagine this with me for a second. You wake up in the morning. You slept through the night, no bathroom trips. You don't feel foggy. Your shoulders and back don't ache. You sip your coffee as sunlight comes across the kitchen. You feel steady, clear, a little more like yourself again. You didn't make 1,000 changes. You just swapped one thing on your plate. And now you've opened the door to a better day, a better mood, a better night. That's how it starts. Because progress doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from doing one thing differently consistently. So here's what to do. Tonight, open your fridge. Look at what you've got ready for breakfast tomorrow. Is there something on that shelf, salami, ham, bacon, that you could swap just once this week? Start there. This isn't about giving something up. It's about getting something back. Your energy, your confidence, your strength. Thousands of men are already doing it. Quietly, successfully. You can join them. In our next video, we're going to walk through 5 easy, delicious breakfast swaps any man can start using right away. No fancy ingredients, no strict diet rules. Just real food for real results. You'll also hear from a surprising group of men using one unexpected spice to enhance testosterone and reduce inflammation without medication. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, because the next choice you make might just change the rest of your life.